if she dies? She won't die. Healthy people don't have nurses. It's precautionary. You're only the night nurse. People die at night all the time. Do you want the job or not? Can you promise that you won't die? No? I'm in. I needed the job. My other 3 jobs weren't cutting it. Job number 1, actor. Excluding the once every 2 months work as a background extra, which normally comprised of me either pretending to be a zombie or a dead body, acting was not proving to be a viable financial option, especially when you're living in Charleston, South Carolina, and there are only so many musical theater options available. Job number 2, Uber. My car was dying. There were multiple repairs that I could not afford to fix. Worse than that, my town was small enough that occasionally I would pick up someone I knew. The horror. Having to drive someone who knew me from high school to a place I wished I was going to. Job number 3, waiter. I worked the day shift at Margarita Town, the Margaritaville knockoff with none of the flair or marketing value of Margaritaville. You can imagine the types of people who come into Margarita Town on a weekend afternoon. Not exactly the generous tipper types. I made $23,700 last year. I don't even know how that's possible. I had an apartment I had to pay rent for. With 3 roommates, but still, I had financial obligations. I would occasionally go on dates where I would either pay or split the bill, depending on the chemistry. $23,700? And I had graduated college. With a communications degree, but still, I was a college graduate. Her name is Gertrude. She's 99. 99? My dear, sweet friend Chloe was trying to get me a little extra cash, and all I could do was try and talk my way out of it. I was terrified of death. Terrified. I had been a hypochondriac ever since I was a little kid, thanks to my hypochondriac father, who still to this day will tell me about all of his ailments, regardless of how graphic or traumatizing it is for me to hear about them. Nothing is out of bounds. Nothing. Hemorrhoids? Constipation? It's all on the table with my hypodadiac. Don't let the age fool you. Gertrude is sharp as a tack. 99? And you're putting her in my hands? Her children want her monitored 24/7. They can afford to make that happen. God bless them. Don't I need some kind of degree in nursing? You've been pre-approved. Me? Pre-approved? They asked if I knew anyone who could cover for me. I said the only person I could find that was available that night was you, but you're not a trained nurse. So they ran a background check on you. Apparently, they think you can handle it. Are they insane? No. In fact, they're quite brilliant. Hence the tons of money. It's $500 for the night. $500? You're not a nurse, which is why it's on the low end. Low end? This is how people live? Doing jobs where they get paid well? You should look into it. Okay, so what do I have to do? She'll be asleep the whole time, except when she gets up to pee in the middle of the night. That's really your sole responsibility, the late night pee, and emergencies. Elaborate on the word emergencies, because I'm having a panic attack. What would I do? Call 911. Oh, I'm going to give you incredibly detailed notes about everything. You won't have to do any of them, except help her pee in the middle of the night and then get her back to bed. I do know how to pee, and I'm quite good at sleeping. Maybe I'm more qualified than I thought. I'll be there until 8. I can introduce you to, and then I have to head home. Great. See you at 8. See you at 8. We hung up, and I proceeded to rapidly play through every possible horrible scenario that could occur that night. None of them happened. What happened was worse than anything I could have ever imagined. Gertrude, this is Avery. Hello, Gertrude. She's not deaf, Avery. I was horrified. This adorably elderly woman had not even spoken yet, and already I was insinuating she was deaf. I was the worst night nurse since Kathy Bates in Misery. She smiled and shook my hand while sitting in her heavenly love seat. Very nice to meet you, Avery. You too, Gertrude. The apartment was gorgeous. It was a 2-story brownstone in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. I began to narrate the tour in my head as we walked through it. Classic Southern charm meets sophisticated elegance. The entryway greets you with high ceilings and an intricate crown molding that hints at the home's historic roots. The foyer features a grand staircase with a polished mahogany banister, its rich dark wood contrasting beautifully with the light, airy tones of the walls. Gertrude, this is the most beautiful home I've ever seen. Thank you, Avery. My children helped me design it. I can't take too much credit. I would take a bullet for Gertrude. Her style and humility almost made me weep with envy. Gertrude, should we get you to bed? Yes, I think that's best. Chloe helped Gertrude to bed, handed her some pills, a glass of water. She was delicate and helpful without being aggressive. I could see why she was such a good nurse. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, dear. Have a lovely trip home. Thank you. You're in good hands with Avery. I think so, too. Good night, my dear. Good night. When we were far enough away from Gertrude's bedroom, I pledged my love for her. Can I adopt Gertrude? She might be the key to happiness. Chloe handed me a manila envelope, which I opened. Not that you'll need it, but it's everything you need to know. It's all in there. Chloe was putting on her jacket as I was skimming Gertrude's complete medical history. Chloe, thank you so much for recommending me. I owe you big time. You'll do great. Martha gets here at 7 a.m. We hugged, and Chloe went out the door. It was 8:45 p.m. I had until 7 a.m. to prove my worth as a human being and treat Gertrude as the princess that she is. I went to her bookshelf. It was covered with books that I dreamed of one day being able to pretend I've read. There were a sublime mix of the classics and the non-classics. I sat in her love seat. It was still warm. Even the temperature of her butt was sophisticated. I sunk into it while sipping my iced coffee. What a glorious way to make a couple of bucks. Perhaps this was the beginning of my future, caring for the extraordinarily wealthy while sipping caffeine. I tried to make myself useful. I wasn't sure precisely what time Gertrude would wake up in the middle of the night, so I wanted to stay alert. Unfortunately, there was nothing to clean, nothing to organize. Someone much more qualified than me had been in charge of that. I was just an underqualified backup. I checked my watch. 9:52. It'd only been 1 hour and I was wired on iced coffee. I should have brought, what, a notebook? Perhaps if I was a writer. How sad. I couldn't even think of a thing I should have brought to kill time. It dawned on me how pathetic my killing time activities had become as I hit my early 30s. Okay, late 30s. But I don't look a day over 36. For God's sake, pick up a book and read. Be a person, Avery. I did. I had to. For the sake of the country. I chose Infinite Jest. It was over 1,000 pages, and it was exactly the type of book that people much smarter than me would tell me about, and I would sit there nodding my big dumb face waiting for us to get naked. Page 1. It has begun. A new era of me being an adult. Until I fell asleep 3 minutes later. I snapped awake. How long had I been asleep? I checked my watch. It was 2:37. Good Lord. That's what reading the great American novel will do to you. I checked Infinite Jest. I was only on page 4? Damn it. Standing there in the dark hallway was Gertrude. Oh, goodness, Gertrude, you scared me. Woo. Do you need to go to the bathroom, hon? Gertrude just stared at me. There was a blankness to her eyes. I thought maybe she was sleepwalking. Did she not know where she was? Who are you? Apparently, she didn't know who I was. I'm Avery, sweetheart, your night nurse. Do you need to use the potty? The lights went out. Oh, shoot, Gertrude, stay still. I used my cell phone as a flashlight. When I aimed it towards Gertrude, she was gone. Gertrude? Gertie? Gerber? I don't apologize for calling her Gerber. It's associated with baby food, but it's also an adorable nickname for an old sweetheart named Gertrude. Are you there, hon? This living room was big, and Gertrude was not in it. She couldn't have run out, which means she might have fallen, which also means that I was on the verge of a heart attack. I could see the front page of the New York Times. Cutest old woman in the world is left to die by failed actor. I moved through the living room and could feel cold air pouring in from somewhere. Gerber obviously had a top-notch central air system going on. Gertie, are you okay? Giggling. Oh, that little rascal. I could hear her Gert tickles coming from close by. She was obviously having a laugh. Isn't that what life is about? Having a laugh? Are we playing a little hide and seek? I could hear tiny footsteps sprinting past me. She was much more spry than I thought. Ow! I think she nicked me on the hip. I think we need to cut those fingernails. Ow! Another nick on the other hip. This was getting a little kinky. Not that I would ever kink shame, but I was on the clock and this felt like a moral conundrum. Something you might find in a mediocre Richard Gere film co-starring Kim Basinger. Gertrude? Maybe we should get back to bed? It's quite late, my dear. I'd hate for you to be a groggy grandma tomorrow. I felt something on my ankle. Something wet and slimy. I squinted through the dark and saw Gertrude licking my ankle. Gertie? She looked up at me from the floor and smiled. I think we need to set up some boundaries. Gertrude screamed. It was so loud that I fell backwards onto the floor, the shaking floor. I hit my shoulder, which I'd injured 3 months ago while playing doubles tennis with Rafael Nadal's dog walker. No big deal. I tipped my head up and could see Gertrude on the floor, on all fours, looking at me, sucking blood off her finger. Gerber, do we need to pop a couple of pills, my dear? Gertrude began crawling on all fours towards me, frothing at the mouth. I screamed while rolling over to get up and then sprinted in a circle as Gertrude knocked over all the decadent furniture in her path, chasing me around the living room. I had no idea where to run, so I darted along the beautiful Brazilian mahogany hallway towards a door and then slammed it behind me in a full panic. I couldn't breathe. Clearly, I had forgotten to give Gerber her medicine, and now I had turned the sweet old golden gal into a flesh-craving lunatic. I could hear her breathing behind the door. I leaned against it and tried to calm her down softly. Gertie, maybe we could watch a movie. Something fun, but light and provocative? Have you seen Starship Troopers? She hit the bathroom door so hard that I flew backwards into the bathtub, ripping down the succulent Ralph Lauren shower curtain in the process. The bathroom shook harder with each progressive bang against the door. I looked down. I could see her fingers sliding under the door, and her fingernails. Her formerly adorable fingernails were now long, yellow, and sharp. Her index finger extended all the way through, paused, and then motioned for me to come closer, followed by a tiny giggle. She finally spoke. I'm gonna getcha. I could hear her laugh as the tiny footsteps pitter-pattered down the hallway. I took out my cell phone and began to frantically text Chloe. No Wi-Fi. Oh my God. How could she forget to tell me that a lack of medication would transform Gertrude to Gary Oldman from the very underrated Bram Stoker's Dracula? Don't let the poor casting choice of Keanu and Winona fool you. That film is deliciously devilish in the best way. I got up and took hold of the shower curtain rod. It was the only thing I could find that felt suitable as a self-defense weapon. I didn't want to hurt Gertrude, but she was clearly aggressive. Maybe it was low blood sugar? My Nana had that. Perhaps they were kindred spirits. I too get very grumpy without sugar. Maybe a cookie would settle her down. I slowly opened the bathroom door. I couldn't see her. I couldn't hear her. I couldn't see or hear anything. It was so dark. I began to creep down the hallway. I could see the entrance door towards my left. It was right there. Do I leave? Get help? What kind of night nurse would I be if I abandoned my patient? This night was supposed to be a turning point. The old me would have surrendered. The new me was supposed to take responsibility. I would not abandon my Gerber, no matter what. Peek-a-boo. I looked up. Gertrude was crawling on the ceiling. I screamed and ran for the door, yelling, "Oh my God, she's a monster!" I tried to open it, but a hand slapped down from up above. It was Gertrude's withered, veiny yellow hand, clenching onto the top of the front door. I slowly backed up. Gertrude's head slowly tilted up, and then it kept going. Her head was extending so far backwards that it was now hanging down across her back. "Gertrude, do you want a cookie?" Gertrude let go of the door and began crawling at me like some huge, mutated spider. I ran screaming all the way up the stairs. Her jagged elbows and knees extended out as her spider reflexes continued crawling up behind me. I dove for the bedroom and then frantically shut the door behind me. I turned. Oh my God. The master suite. The master suite is a serene retreat. The bedroom boasts a king-sized bed with an elaborate headboard, flanked by matching nightstands and elegant lamps. The ensuite bathroom is a luxurious space, featuring a freestanding clawfoot tub, a large walk-in shower with intricate tile work, and dual vanities with marble countertops. The only thing more impressive than Gertrude's ability to climb walls and ceilings was her immaculate interior design skills. And then the cherry on the architectural sundae. A 10-foot-long painting of Gertrude. She looked stunning. Poplar wood panel rather than canvas. Oil paints. Pigments of natural substances such as earth tones, minerals, and organic dyes. She was wearing a modest, dark-colored gown that is typical of the early 16th century Italian fashion. The gown is rich and heavy, suggesting both a sense of elegance and restraint. The dress features a deep neckline, but it is covered by a delicate, sheer, white linen or silk chemise, which is visible at the collar and the puffs. The sleeves of her gown were long and fitted with a slight puff at the shoulder. They extend to her wrists and are adorned with subtle, elegant folds that add to the overall gracefulness of her attire. The bodice of the gown is tightly fitted, emphasizing the subject's slender waist. It is the slight diagonal drape, creating a natural and graceful silhouette that flows into the skirt. The skirt of the gown flows gracefully and is gathered at the waist, creating a gentle cascading effect. The fabric appears to be heavy and sumptuous, contributing to the overall elegance of her appearance. Dark, transparent veil that covers her hair and extends to her shoulders. The veil is finely rendered and provides a subtle contrast to her gown, enhancing the depth and texture of the painting. Her hair is partially concealed by the veil, but some of it is visible, arranged in soft waves. The hair is dark and parted in the center, with some loose strands framing her face. I couldn't help but wonder, how had I never auditioned to be a voiceover actor before? Music began to play. It seemed to be emanating from everywhere. I couldn't even tell what the speakers were. They blended in on an almost subatomic level. It was soft, sensual. A woman began to sing in a language I didn't understand. Shocking, I know. Someone so worldly as myself, yet my lack of travel would make doves cry. The The last time my passport got touched was when I went to Montreal. Does Canada even count as a trip? That's like going to New Jersey. Avery, Avery, you can run, but you can't hide. I couldn't tell if it was coming from the speakers or inside my own head. It felt so close, so intimate, just like the decor of this master suite. My God, are those French doors? I got up to check them out. The French doors led out to a private balcony with views of the city and gardens below. I tried to open the balcony doors. They were locked. I looked around for something to break through the glass. There was nothing. I'd have to burst through it using my body as a weapon, just like Madonna did in the erotic thriller Body of Evidence, co-starring Willem Dafoe, Julianne Moore, and Frank Langella. I took several steps back and was hyping myself up mentally for the run and burst through glass. I tried to think of things to psych me up. Defying Gravity from Wicked. It marks the pivotal moment when Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, embraces her powers and chooses to defy societal expectations. The soaring melody and powerful lyrics, combined with a spectacular staging, make this a defining moment in the show. There was not a dry eye in the house. One More Day from Les Miserables. This song is a thrilling ensemble piece that interweaves the storylines of the various characters just before the start of the revolution. It's a powerful and emotional climax that builds anticipation for the impending conflict. There was not a dry eye in the house. The Circle of Life from The Lion King. While this song opens the show, its climactic moment occurs as it dramatically introduces the world of the Pride Lands and sets the stage for Simba's journey. The combination of music, choreography, and puppetry creates a breathtaking experience. There was not a dry eye in the... Oh my God, there's someone outside the French doors. This person, wearing a black cloak and some kind of mysterious medieval mask, stepped through the balcony doors and began walking straight towards me, unveiling a long metallic sword. I turned and ran out of the bedroom. I could feel something nearby. I turned. Standing in the hallway with her head down, perfectly still, was Gertrude. I could see just an outline of her, like a silhouette. There was a bright, red light punctuating the hall from behind her. It was so vivid I had to shield it from my eyes. The doorknob next to me began to turn. I turned back to Gertrude, who was now climbing up the side of the wall right at me. I ran. Again. At least I was getting my steps in. I flew down the stairs as my shoulder throbbed. Gertrude leapt down from the second floor, blocking my path. I ran through the gourmet kitchen, visible through an open archway, blending modern convenience with historic charm. It features state-of-the-art appliances hidden behind custom cabinetry, a marble island with ample seating, and a vintage-inspired stove and range. The backsplash is a mosaic of hand-painted tiles, and pendant lights hang from above the island, providing both function and style. Next, Gertrude chased me through the formal living room, with its large, arched windows draped in luxurious floor-to-ceiling curtains. The room was furnished with antique pieces, including a tufted velvet sofa, an intricately carved mahogany coffee table. The large, ornate fireplace serves as the focal point, flanked by built-in bookshelves filled with classic tomes and elegant decor. The flooring is a mix of polished hardwood and plush Persian rugs. Next, as she began to vomit blood and black goo, Gertrude chased me through the dining area, with its large, dark oak table that comfortably seats 12. The room is illuminated by a dazzling chandelier that cascades light across the room, reflecting off the high-gloss hardwood floors. Traditional wainscoting and a coffered ceiling added to a sense of grandeur. Throughout the chase, I noticed her brownstone was a harmonious blend of historic architectural details and modern amenities, all wrapped up in a warm palette of colors and textures that reflect Charleston's genteel elegance and timeless beauty. This was a dream home. It's a shame that I was currently fleeing for my life in a nightmare. Miraculously, I had accidentally found myself running towards the entrance. I was 5 feet from the front door when it began to open. Standing there was another person in a dark cloak, wearing the same mysterious medieval mask as the other cloaked person upstairs. They unveiled themselves. Chloe? Hey, Avery, how's it going? Chloe, oh my God, you have to help. There's something wrong with Gertrude. Also, that mask is amazing. Can I borrow it? I'm asking for a friend. Chloe shut the door behind her. Avery, we are so grateful to have someone like you who contributes so little to the human race. Ouch, Chloe. Sticks and stones are not the only things that hurt, you know. I want you to know that your life will have meaning in death, as your blood will continue to run through the superior being known as Lamia. Lamia? I don't know what that means, Chloe. A loud thump was heard from behind me. Standing there was Gertrude, face down, long white hair covering her face. I tried to reason with Gertrude since Chloe was being such a bitch. Gerber, baby? She tilted her head up and smiled. Her face began to stretch. Long, flowing, bloody tentacles slithered out of her mouth and then swimming towards me. I felt a pinch into my neck. I turned. Chloe was injecting me with something. Chloe? What is... I felt drowsy. I tried to turn and walk towards the door, but I got about 2 feet before collapsing onto my back, staring up at the ceiling. Chloe and Gertrude were now standing above me. Chloe... It was hard to speak. My body was paralyzed. I couldn't move at all. Only my mouth seemed functional at the moment. Chloe, am I still getting paid for this? Sleep tight, Avery, she said, as Gertrude began to eat my flesh, starting from my toes and then slowly working her way towards my flabby calves. As the light in my eyes started to fade away, I couldn't help but think, at least I was dying in luxury.